big bilge tank. We'll fix your techie woes,
And we'll break things and we'll make things till we're all together raking, and
we'll
we'll
raise a cup of grog down in the big bilge tank. In the big bilge tank. Come and join our pirate crew. In the big bilge tank.
We will show you what to do.
And we'll hack it till we crack it.
and we'll tell the world about it and forget to tidy up.
That's why it's now a bilge tank.
Hello and welcome to episode 063 of the Bilge Tank. It's just
Hello.
Sandy and me today because Phil is gallivanting in the Cambridgeshire.
Skeleton crew this week.
That's it. Nice.
And last week as well.
And Paul has gone off on holiday, so we've been deserted.
To Whitby, is that right? To the
he's
Goth Festival.
Gone to the big goth weekend in Whitby. Yeah. Fish and chips by the sea in the cold.
Lovely. The Magpie.
So we got
a
raspberry pie in the chat.
It's the Magpie Cafe, isn't it? The really good fish and chip shop.
I think so, yeah.
Right
There's
on the
a
harbour.
big one, isn't there? It's very
Fantastic,
popular.
yeah.
So today's Bilge Tank is primarily about photography. We've got a little Mote set up, and we're talking about. I can't remember. I read this beforehand.
So we've made an IKEA photography table. So a DIY photography rig,
which is pretty cool.
It's really good. Yeah, it's really. It was kind of one of Paul's kind of ideas for an IKEA hack. And he kind of said
one of Paul's many ideas for an IKEA hack. Yeah.
Basically, the kind of offices up here at Pomerone are kind of full of either already constructed IKEA furniture or IKEA furniture still in its box.
Or in the process of being abused.
Yeah, Paul kind of weekly goes to IKEA and buys various things. So he came in one day with this IKEA table and said to Phil and I want to make a photography table out of this. And when he said, I want to make it, he meant Phil and I. So Phil and I ended up building it, and it actually turned out really well. So we should be able to get
Would you like to see it?
An image up of it.
There we go.
Yeah, so this is, can we get picture in picture?
I don't know how you do that shenanigans now. Not that one.
Not that one. That's, yeah. Oh, that's
the
confident.
wrong way around, isn't it? There we go.
Inception.
How do you reset that? There we go. Okay.
Yeah, so basically what we've got here is the frame that you can see on the top. Kind of
this kind of tubing stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, the kind of tubing, that's actually the legs of a table. And the top of the table is attached underneath the legs, if that makes sense. Right, so the top should be on here on top.
Yep.
The bit of the
the way you've got it set up, you mounted the top to the bottom using almost like a G-clamp style.
It's just really hard
setup.
to get your finger in the right.
Yeah, you can't really. But yeah, the bottom of this rig is actually what would be the top of the table.
Exactly, yeah.
But you've kind of screwed it onto the bottom of the legs to provide the photography surface.
And then just got a set of the cheap kind of like tubular steel legs that you do for desks.
So they're actually steel, are they?
That
metal, at least.
That thing on the top, but there's actually like steel legs on the bottom as well.
Nice.
Because obviously the legs are on the top,
and
so Paul had to buy some other legs.
The great thing about that is that obviously you've got all these tubes that you can attach the kind of
exactly,
light clamps
the
and
lights,
the camera clamps and stuff.
So the lights that are on that are fairly cheap. I think they're about 25 or 30 quid on Amazon.
These are the classic like grid of LED photography modules, aren't they?
You know, an LED matrix of white LEDs. They have like 2 or 3 different filters that you can slot in that give you a different colour temperature.
Yeah.
And they have the barn doors on them, so you can kind of guide the light where you want.
They also traditionally come with terrifying Chinese power supplies.
They do,
which we throw them away and get a decent power supply.
So they're
using the slice ones.
Well, they actually came with big chunky batteries, so they're like Sony camcorder batteries that they take. But the problem with that is you obviously have to keep taking them out and charging them all the time, or have twice as many as you need and have one set on charge and then be using the other ones.
Yeah.
So what we actually did was we got some light adapters that are the same shape as the battery, but they have a barrel jack connector on them. And they were the things that came with the they essentially came with a European plug on them, and one of those horrible European to UK adapters that you get from China that you can do horrible things like take another plug and flip it the wrong way round so that the pins are reversed, and then plug it in so you've got live going into your neutral and stuff like that. And also I think who is it that did, Big Clive did a teardown of one and discovered that the earth pin is actually connected to the rest of the plug,
right?
But not wired into anything.
Okay. So we threw those away as well and got some decent
so they
ones.
went straight in the bin.
Yeah. But the actual lights themselves are pretty cool, and like you say, they're really cheap, 20 quid, 30 quid, something
And
like
they're
that.
dimmable as well, which is really nice, so you can change the kind of balance of the lights. And obviously the kind of metal frame allows you to mount them wherever you want, and the mounts are actually kind of clamps that have got an extendable arm on them with a tripod mount on the end. So you mount the light onto the tripod mount, and then you can kind of bend the arm to whatever angle you want.
Which is dead handy.
And it comes out with some really good shots. Actually, I've got
a sample.
Yeah, I've got an example shot. So this is a shot that I took on it.
So you just slipped a piece of yellow paper in, like craft paper, and then put the heatsink on top.
Yep. So this is one of our heat sinks. So you can see you get really nice soft shadows
and you can control their direction.
Exactly.
You can move the lights
yeah,
around and kind of like really stage what you want. And this is for a top secret project we're working on at the moment. So set up nice colourful shots. Are these more pictures as well? Or?
I think they're the time lapse, the other ones. I think we're kind of done with the IKEA table. We'll put
rough cost for that build? What do you reckon? With the IKEA table, the lamps and everything?
Less than 100 quid.
The
table itself I think is about 40, including the additional legs. The lights, like I say, I think are about 25-30 quid each. The clamps are about a £5, I think.
So if you're like a hobbyist maker who's doing products like Osh Park PCBs or whatever and selling kits, something like that is a great cheap setup. I mean, it's good enough for what we want to use it for. It's good enough for a lot of things, really.
Well, I mean, it's actually better than our
proper setup downstairs.
Our proper setup downstairs.
Is our product guy getting jealous? Is he jealous of your rig? Maybe we'll sort him out. That's pretty cool.
So we'll add the links to the products that you need to buy if you want to build that to the description after we've.
And the only other thing I could see in this shot is you've got one of these kind of rolls of paper in the background, so you've got some sort of beam across so you can just pull it down and keep refreshing it.
That's actually one of the spare cross braces from the table.
Right. Okay.
So that comes with the frame when you buy it. The roll of paper is actually the rolls of IKEA paper that they do for kids.
Oh, right, so like infinite drawing paper.
Exactly, they have a kids' table that's got like a bar on it that you put the roll of paper on, they can just kind of pull out a bit and scribble on it and then tear it off, and that's ideal for doing that kind of infinite background thing.
Very cool. I like it. IKEA do some good furniture, and because it's kind of cheap and uncomplicated, it is good for hacking.
Yeah, ideal, yeah.
And we built another thing this week. Well, we didn't. We got the professionals in, but they did a good job. We got a mezzanine, which is very exciting because we were running out of space. So we've added a 1,000 square foot mezzanine in the workshop. The guys, you might even be able to hear it right now because it's a bit noisy. They're currently rearranging everything, getting all the stock stuff that we need to store up there on top, and building a lot of shelves. It sounds like
because we've got a shipping container arriving tomorrow.
We have got loads of stuff coming tomorrow.
7 pallets worth of goodies. Yeah.
Lots
including
of stuff.
stickers. Yay.
Oh, we got new sticker sheets coming.
Yeah.
They're very exciting. And Raspberry Pi mentioned the quality of the sticker in the middle of the back of the surface, I think. The Raspberry Pi stickers, which you could buy on the Swag store and also on our store, I think.
Yep. Let's show the time-lapse actually before we talk about it, because it's...
we'll go full screen for that.
It's cool.
So this is our... this is kind of the left-hand side, I say, of the warehouse area that we have. We had to clear this all out for the mezzanine to be built, so we basically shoved everything over to the other side. It's really, really dense. But that's our main roller shutter doors. And that view is the view from yours and Paul and Phil's office.
Yep.
On one side of the building. So
which is now a fire escape.
Which now they can basically climb out of the window onto the mezzanine. Bonus points.
Yeah.
and this was the build. It took them 3 days. Everything comes. They do the drawings first and kind of measure up, and then everything is pre-cut and ready to go. They literally just tip up with a huge number of girders and kind of floor plates and put the thing together like a Lego set.
Yep.
Which is pretty impressive. Very noisy, quite frustrating, but 3 days.
Yep.
It's not too bad.
So when it gets back to the start, we'll kind of explain what's happening. So that's the metal frame going up.
And that was like half a day, right? That just
Yeah,
went
it was-
whoosh
yeah.
straight up.
It was like, actually by coffee time, by like 11 o'clock in the morning, most of it was up. Then day 2 was kind of boarding it out. And then day 3 was trimming off the edges and putting the guardrail round the side and kind of tidying up.
Yeah.
They were actually finished by 3 o'clock on the 3rd day, weren't they? So it was more like 3.5 days actually.
It was.
2.5 days, sorry.
It was incredibly quick.
Yeah.
And good finish as well. And it's great because we've got another 1,000 square feet of space to store things, which was getting a little bit desperate. So,
So let's have a look at
That'd
the
be nice.
photo of the setup.
so as soon as you knew they were doing that and that it was going to be outside your window, you decided
Yeah.
you're going to go
Yeah.
time lapse.
Yeah.
So,
So this is a little Perspex mount that Paul designed for the Pi Zero, and a separate mount for the Pi camera, and all of that is connected to one of those GorillaPod type tripods.
yeah, it's like a cheap, lightweight GorillaPod, isn't
Yep,
it? But
yeah.
ideal for, I think they probably make them for like mobile phones or something.
And it's they're
or
really good.
GoPros.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. The really good thing is it's got a GoPro mount on it, and that has like basically 2 slots that you can mount things to. So one of them is holding the Pi Zero, and the other one is holding the camera. And connected to it is a Wi-Fi dongle, so we could kind of keep tabs on whether it was still running. And
Well, you kind of set it up just before the weekend, and it had bombed out by Monday morning. And
yeah,
like,
so we had to
crap.
hastily like re-image an SD card and set the whole thing up again. And the other thing is the power supply that's going in.
Mhm.
Because it was a bit of a rush job, the camera cable is kind of twisted. So I think if we're doing this properly and we're going to sell them out, we're going to kind of fix it so the cable is not twisted, obviously.
we don't
But,
have to do that. But yeah, we were looking to put together like a little kit to go with these mounts for doing
Yep.
kind of time-lapse shots and
yeah,
stuff
because
like
it
that.
works really well actually. And the way that I set the, we can kill the
You can
kill the photo
Thanks,
now.
Sandy.
The way that I set the time lapse up was basically I just did it with cron, and had it running every 2 minutes. So cron is like a scheduling program on Linux,
Mhm.
and it's really useful. So if you want to do something like take a photo every minute, or run any kind of script every minute, or every 2 minutes, or every 10 minutes, or at 1/4 every hour,
Or just on
or
Wednesdays. It
just
has a
on
lot
Wednesdays, or at 4 o'clock every day, or
Mhm.
it's kind of infinitely customizable.
for certain values of infinitely.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
But essentially,
for a finite
you
value.
can tell it to run a command as if you'd run it from the command line. You can tell it what user to run it as well, I think, or use SU or something.
Yep.
But yeah, dead handy for scheduling stuff.
Yep.
Um,
So I wrote
very cool.
a bash script that had the Raspberry still command with the various parameters, and we'll add that to the comments as well so that
Mhm.
people can do that if they want. We'll probably do a tutorial as well about it because
It's cool.
yeah, and it came out really well. So basically just that cron tab entry ran the bash script every 2 minutes, took a photo with a timestamp, then I downloaded all of them, bumped them all into After Effects and made a time lapse, and it was came out really well. It was really easy to set up.
Imagine.
Yep.
Looks good. Someone was asking where they can buy my other computer costs $35 sticker. You can buy them on the Swag store, which is swag.raspberrypi.org, and I think they cost like £1 to ship or something. But yeah, go and check them out. They're a very cool sticker. Every time someone sees those when they come to see us, they're immediately, I want that sticker. I want one.
Yeah.
So since we were already looking at some photography stuff, and since you were working on the top secret project TM, we were wondering about light boxes for putting underneath things when we were taking photographs. So sometimes you want shadows and you're trying to get a certain style with the shadows, but there were some other things we were trying to do where we wanted to lose the shadows but not have to kind of digitally crop it, because you can get quite artificial feeling edges on things. So we've been playing around with a kind of putting together a lightbox idea for that, but and other things as well. You've kind of knocked up the prototype.
Yeah, so let's have a look at this. So this is an A4 size Perspex lasercut box. You may or may not be able to, if I turn down the brightness, we should be able to see where everything is. So we've got the Mote sticks mounted.
Oh, it's the underside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
We've got the 4 Mote sticks mounted, then we've got the controller down here, and the cable's in a bit of a spaghetti mess going to the Mote sticks. And then just this is the data cable, and this is a supplementary power supply. And what we have inside it is we have the base layer that everything's mounted to. Then we've got a couple of spacer layers that are basically just the kind of edge bit. Then we've got a diffuser layer kind of roughly in the middle. And then we've got the top layer that's kind of a frosted white acrylic.
Yeah.
So you've got kind of double diffusion.
Which helps spread it more. I think we've realised we need a bit more height.
Yeah, I think we need to make it a bit taller to get it really diffuse. And John has cunningly rigged up
the most Heath Robinson of controls.
It's brilliant. No, it's great. So this is an Explorer Hat Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I've got it the wrong way up. With 3 trim pots that are, I presume...
Can you get that under close-up without yanking all the cables?
Yeah, I should be able to.
Let's give it a go. Hey, perfect.
There we go. So the trim pots are hooked up to the analogue channels on the Explorer Hat
Just
Pro.
lift up a tiny bit. I brought us in the corner so that you could turn them if you wanted to.
There we go. So these are the analogue channels. Each of the trim pots is hooked up to a separate analogue channel. The values are being read and then converted into hue, saturation and value.
Yeah, basically we take an analogue reading, which gives you the voltage that's being read at the analogue channel. We then scale that to 0 to 1, which is what ColorSys uses, the Python library. And then we treat those 3 parts as the hue, saturation and brightness or value, whatever you want to call it. And using ColorSys we can turn that into RGB, and then we scale the RGBs out to what Mote expects, which is 0 to 255, spit them out to the Mote sticks, and away you go. And it just sits there in an infinite loop. So if you turn it now, you can fiddle around with the colours and things, which is kind of fun. You'll need to turn brightness up a little bit at least.
Oh, my hand's in the way.
Is it? Hey!
So that's brightness. This is
Saturation.
Saturation must be turned all the way down.
Yeah, I think they're all raised to 0.
Turn saturation up, so that's obviously red, so that must be hue equal to 0 at the moment.
Yes, and it'll be red at the other end as well, because obviously it's a wheel of...
Yeah, can cycle all the way through, red, green, blue, back to red.
God, it really blows out on camera, doesn't it?
Yeah. So,
kind of cool.
Let's actually get it under the close-up.
Someone was asking, just before we go, someone was asking about that case with the Ubuntu logo on it. We actually did a batch of special cases that were given out at some Ubuntu developer events. So they're not available, it was just, it just happens to be one I've got on my desk.
So
but they do look cool.
Yeah, so you can see the thing about it is that the light's kind of concentrated in this back area, and that's just because we had to mount the controller board somewhere. I think maybe when we redesign this we might have everything, like all the gubbins out the back of it, and then have the Mote sticks kind of evenly spread across, so you've got a nice kind of even light across
consistent
it.
film,
Maybe make it a bit smaller. I was also thinking about maybe having like sides on it as well, so you could mount the Mote sticks either to the sides or the top, and then kind of have like side lighting or top lighting as well.
Yeah, the strips show up more on camera than they do in real life, which kind of doesn't help because we designed it for using with the camera. But I think if we get that lid further up, it will definitely improve things.
So that's white. So I'll just I'm going to take a little test shot here just to kind of do a proper demo of it. We've got our
We've got our custom Lego guys. We've got our monkey, our ninja.
yeah. I
our
bought them on
robots.
eBay actually. I found
They're cool.
I just had this idea. I thought I'm gonna get a pirate, a monkey, a robot, and a ninja Lego minifig. So I went on eBay and I found one of each for not very much money, and they sit on my shelf now. So let's. Ideally, you would have some kind of top lighting as well for this, because the kind of to get the exposure
To
right on
compensate
the
for the
figures,
extra brightness,
it's kind of tricky. But
Alex is asking if the Mote Fat will be back in stock. Yeah, it will be. They're just kitting some up at the moment, I think. So it won't be long.
let's get this.
Such pirates.
So there you go. You can see that you get absolutely no shadows at all. But like I say, you would want some kind of lighting from the top as well to balance out that light from below.
And obviously you can tweak the brightness, so you can kind of tone it down a bit if that helps.
Or change colour. Let's do one with a different colour as well. Let's do a nice, what colour will we do? Blue. Let's do that nice turquoisey blue. Actually, the funny thing is it actually comes out white as well, just because
it's overexposing, really, isn't it?
yeah, because it's overexposed so much. But you can see you get a nice blue light on the figures themselves.
So it's still something we're working on.
Yeah, it's kind of a proof of concept, but definitely seems to work.
I mean, if we don't take it any further than as Shu says, it's just a disco dance floor for Lego people, which is also fine. So it's kind of cool.
Pretty cool.
We like that. Yeah, the Mote Fat is. I know they've made a bunch of them, so they must be in the packing room. But the packing guys are currently stocking the mezzanine, so they will be back soon enough.
Yep. And I think the final thing is Richard Ruston, who is part of Raspberry Jam Berlin, and a friend of James Mitchell.
Right.
We met him when we were at Maker Faire Berlin. He was helping out on James's stall. He has written an Android app for Mote, so a Mote controller app, and it's really, really good. Works really nicely. I've forgotten my.
What do you have to?
I've forgotten my adapter for my. For my
Are you having a USB-C moment, Sandy?
Yeah.
Do you want me to? Do you know where it is?
I'll just go and grab it.
You can go.
You can just chew the fat.
Absolutely. So I don't know anything about this, but apparently it's an Android app, because I think Sandy demoed a Mote-driven system using iPhone, and we thought, we might as well cover both bases, so there's a solution there for Android as well, which is nice.
Ta-da, dongle. Yeah, it's quite appropriate, isn't it, with all the hullabaloo that's going on with Apple and dongles and ports and whatnot. Okay, so as well as the Android app, I've actually rewritten. So we've got a tutorial that's how to control Mote with your iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's using HomeKit, which is Apple's kind of like IoT home automation kind of API set of APIs.
Yeah.
And it uses a kind of custom plugin for HomeKit and an API that I kind of hastily wrote for Mote.
That you lovingly crafted.
I've rewritten it to be a bit more sensible, because when I first did it, it was written to fit in with the way that the HomeKit plugin worked, which to me wasn't all that sensible. So I've rewritten it to have things like brightness control and more sensible kind of endpoints, and you can control channels individually. So each one of the 4 sticks you can kind of individually control.
Oh, right, okay, cool.
Now.
Nice.
So I'll just fire that up. So that's now running. and then it's just a matter of you have to basically add the IP address and port that the API is running on to the Mote app. So I'll just fire that up as well. So can we get the close-up cam?
We can. What are we looking at? Oh, you looking at your phone?
Yep.
So
this is
corner then.
So this is the app. So
This is a native app. It's not like a web view thing or.
yeah, it's a native Android app.
Cool.
Yeah. So this, I'm just going to check that this may already be the correct. It's not 138.
Oh, Richard's on the chat as well.
Yay! Hello.
Hey, Richard.
Nice work.
He says he's going to update the app for your new API when you published it.
So that's me added the IP address and the port of my laptop.
Nice.
That's running on.
Did you have to type in the IP address?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So now, hopefully, if I do that, is it? No.
Did you get a message up on your screen then? Something appeared at the bottom.
The Mote server returned an error.
Are you running the right version of the
Got
API?
Yeah.
Oh, 404. Not fair. Something's not running.
I know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. I am indeed running the wrong version of the API. I was running my new version of it, which it obviously won't work with. Right, let's try again.
Hey!
Yay!
We're on.
So that's on off. Ooh, can't really see it. On, off, on, off. Let's change the colour to red and make John look really spooky. On.
Richard, is it possible to get it to update the colour real time as you move over the
Yep.
colour wheel?
I've
We thought
emailed
that'd be really cool.
I've emailed Richard.
I know, but if I
said
bug
he's
him
gonna-
again,
Yeah.
that's like twice as effective, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it's
Very
great.
cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
So you could have like a Pi Zero with a Wi-Fi dongle tucked under your kitchen cabinets or something with Mote sticks running along the inside of the cabinets. Grab your phone, change the colour of the lighting. Boom.
Yep.
Or behind your TV, something like that. We do actually have, mentioning TVs, we do actually have some very early work on like a Hyperion driver for these, and we have had them set up doing Ambilight style effects behind behind the screen. So we should get that finished really, and get it out there. But it's pretty cool.
Yep.
Smart.
So it's it's really good.
Did you guys mention Arduboy last week?
We did
played
not.
it? Did you play on one?
Yeah, that was like 2 or 3 weeks back.
All right.
But I think shortly after, I think initially we only got like 25 of them, was it in stock, or 50 maybe?
24 was the
Yeah,
first batch.
yeah.
Yeah.
A very small number, and they sold out within, I think, a day.
Right.
And we were kind of waiting for extra stock before we talked about it again. But we now have them back in stock.
Only 11, because they are very popular. And
Yeah.
as far as I'm aware, we've been told by the supplier that they're nearly out, pending another production batch. So they may be out of stock for a while, but I think we're meant to be getting them at some point in December at least. So they should be available for Christmas. Fingers crossed, we got an order in. And the only other kind of cool new product that we have this week is a new microbit add-on, which is like a NeoPixel grid. Did you talk about this last week?
Nope.
Good. And this is from our friends at Prototech, and we've never stocked any of their products before. They've stocked a couple of our things, and obviously they're based in the UK as well, and they're a great bunch. And this is their first microbit add-on, and it's really cool. It's a bit like the Unicorn Fact, I guess. It's basically the same concept, but with the really clunky microbit connector on it. Yeah. What can you do, hey?
So it's basically unicorn fat for your microbit.
For your microbit,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool because microbit's Bluetooth, so you could do phone control, I guess, things like that, or you could hook it up to the accelerometer and do effects, moving it around,
Yeah.
maybe wear it as a badge or something. So
We'll have to do a microbit bilge tank in like one
do
day.
a microbit special.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have
Should
to play
do.
around with them because they are kind of cool.
Yep.
Apart from that
I
stuff.
think we're going to do a Picade special soon as well, probably
our
before
third.
before Black Friday. Yeah, because we've got
Yeah.
we're going to try and light the inside of it with Mote sticks actually, and kind of possibly make a kind of mounting bracket for the Mote sticks to go behind where the marquee is on the package, so you can light up the marquee.
Does that work well through the card print, or would
It
you
does
have to
actually,
replace it?
yeah,
Is that
yeah.
right? Well, we'll find out.
Especially if you get 2 Mote sticks as well,
Mhm.
then it really does.
Eye blisteringly bright.
Especially if you have the additional power supply, of course, it really works quite well.
Super.
Um,
Well, that's it for
Yep.
this week, I think. Don't forget to like,
comment and Phil.
subscribe.
Subscribe.
See you later, folks.
Bye.